Here is a little background information. The President of the United States is elected by members of the Electoral College, not necessarily the residents of the United States. Each state is granted a specific number of delegates based off their senators and representatives. The higher number of representatives, the more delegates. The 6 least populated states have fewer residents, therefore a lower number of representatives. This, in turn, will give them a lower amount of Electoral College delegates. They each have 3 delegates, making sure they have equal view and say in the presidential election. Putting it shortly, the 23rd Amendment is saying that the residents of Washington, D.C. have the right to vote for the president and vice president. Since they didn't belong to an actual state, they couldn't receive nearly the same rights as any other state due to the lack of government. Just like the 6 least populated states, D.C. is granted 3 members to the Electoral College. At one point, there were over 760,000 people in Washington, D.C., and it seemed odd that the people from a dozen different states with lower populations had more voting rights than those in the district. They had to pay taxes, serve in the military, but had no rights to vote for the president. The 23rd Amendment carries a very minimal impact on the United States of America as a whole, although it does affect the small city-state we know as our capital. The 23rd Amendment specifically changed Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, which deals with the Electoral College, and delegates that are elected by each state based on their representatives and senators to vote for the president and or vice president. There has only been one instance in which the amendment had been discussed before being passed. In 1890, a bill was introduced to grant D.C. voting rights in the presidential race, although it was not considered and forgotten about until the 1960s. In conclusion, I believe the amendment should have been passed due to its importance to thousands of citizens that reside in the most powerful area of America. It brings no harm and serves only to benefit Americans whose voices aren't heard.